alone going to be able to put him within the top 5. If he can find any more time, he might be contesting for pole. Let's see what we can do getting ready to cross the line. Now in these final 2 corners, this is going to be a monster of a lap. It's going to be monstrous enough to take pole. No, it won't, but it's going to be enough to get on the front row. Checking with a few others, at most, they were on a run for improvement, but won't be able to now. Okay, that was a little bit close. Budweiser was trying to find as wide of a line as he could, but it looks like he invalidated his outlap. Did it invalidate his outlap as well? No, it did not, so luckily for him, he'll be looking to improve here. At the moment, though, no one has been able to beat Diego's time, and well, if they did, they would be sitting in 125 lap. That would be incredible to witness. Okay, yeah, that was inaccurate. For a second, I thought Budweiser found 4/10 in Sector 1, in which case, I would have asked what witchcraft he was using to make that happen. But, no, that was just his previous lap. But let's see. He's already found an extra 10 through Sector 1. Could he actually set a 125 lap? Diego might be in danger of losing position. He may want to get out on track and set another lap just in case. Kevin, he has enough time to set one more lap, should he choose to. He'd be cutting it a bit close, but I think many drivers are already scrambling to get on track to set a couple more lap times. And interestingly enough, No Limit is now out on track. He's running on the medium tires. Everybody else is on a set of softs. I don't think that was necessarily the wisest move. He's not going to have enough time. Just another lap, so he has no choice but to attempt it on the mediums. If he can get into the top 10, I mean, if it works, good for him. But, oh, he's already invalidated. Well, he's going to send it into the wall. He was trying to just DNF there, did not succeed, and now he succeeded. Wow. That was the fastest rage quit I've ever seen. Meanwhile, looks like Budweiser fumbled his lap. He will not be able to improve this time, but he has one more shot at it. Bullet, he has enough time to set one more lap, and Blitz is making his way through getting ready. But, oh, actually, he got his lap invalidated. Never mind. Crispy's making their way through. They have only one shot left to set a lap. Okay, checking in back with Crispy. Hopefully he'll be able to set a good enough lap to get up into the top 10 where his teammate currently is. Meanwhile, Budweiser's going to be cutting it close. He's found a 10th. Kevin will retire. He will not be able to improve. If Budweiser finds a bit more time, he could still at least get a front row star unless he pulls off a miracle through this final sector. He's going to be cutting it a little bit close. Will it be enough to beat Kevin and start on the front row, crossing the line? He does improve, but it's just out of range. Budweiser is going to be done. And he'll have to settle for third, unless, of course, one of these drivers behind beat him. And Pyrax crosses the line to take 7th overall. An impressive run. At the moment, the 3 teams that are looking incredibly strong here are Red Bull, Haas, and Ferrari. Although, of course, we do have Diego managing just an incredible lap. First overall, of course. His teammate is a little bit further behind, but he is attempting to set one more lap. But he get both Mercedes in the top 10. If he does, Well, that's going to push, potentially, both Alpines out, and Fernandez will not be able to improve. Spunk is looking to improve right now through this final sector. Will be enough time to beat Gary and perhaps Blitz to take a third row star crossing the line. I think he just might make that happen. Actually, it's going to be... Oh, well, he was on the second row for a short moment, but looks like Astro just behind stole that away from him to take fourth overall. Deacon will be unable to improve, so it looks like qualifying has been decided, but Diego has found even more time. Could he actually set a 125 lap? This is going to be close, but he manages to make it happen. What an incredible time from Diego. A 125.77. That, I think, is the best qualifying lap in a league race at Bahrain I've ever seen. That is incredible. If Diego can take this qualifying pace into the race, he's about to have a very dominant victory ahead of him. And of course, we're just waiting on Budweiser to cross the line. That's going to be the end of qualifying. So Diego is going to take pole position by a huge margin. About half a second's difference between him and Kevin is going to be joining him on the front row, followed up by Budweiser and Astro, Spunk and Bullet, Blitz, and Gary the Goat, Pyrex and Not Pop, rounding out the top 10. And then in the bottom 8, it's Sargento, Evernazo, Crispy, Deacon, No Limit No Equal, Blue Layden, Pat, and Atmos. And at the moment, it looks like it's going to be a close battle between Red Bull, Haas, and Williams in terms of constructors' battles right now. But if some of these drivers below catch up, I think Alpine and Mercedes could really join into the fray with both drivers. So it's going to be a pretty fierce battle up at the front. Alright, here we are now in the formation lap. So, checking in with tire strategy while these cars are making their way around, it's going to be top 10 all softs, and bottom 8 it's going to be mostly softs. Actually, it's going to be about even split, half softs, half mediums. Medium runners being Sargento, Crispy, Deegan, and No Limit No Equal. Everybody else is going to be running the soft tire. Now, around here at Bahrain, one stopper is very possible from medium to hard tire. Alternatively, you can do a soft, medium, medium strategy, or soft, soft, medium. But I have seen some drivers who manage their tires well enough to do just a simple soft to medium strategy. It really depends on how well you manage your tires and the level of pace you have and the confidence you have in it. But I think it'll be interesting, and of course, safety car could always prove to be a factor. I think we're going to see some interesting strategic variety here. So Diego had an incredible qualifying lap, getting within the 125 times around here, Bahrain. That is incredibly impressive. And if he can carry that on in the race, he's going to have a very, very easy race ahead of him. But a little bit further back, it's going to be a very tough fight. We have a third row lockout for Ferrari, Spunk, and Bullet. And they're currently kind of stuck between two Red Bulls, albeit a little bit further distance, as well as two Hasses. And while it looks like there may be two Williams or two Alpines, it's actually just one Williams and one Alpine with Astro and Gary. And admittedly, that is infuriating because when I glance at it, the Williams and Alpine colors are so similar. Williams is just a slightly darker shade of blue. It's so similar. I occasionally mix it up, and it's kind of infuriating. I do hope in the next game they do change that. Maybe give Alpine the pink indicator for BWT. That way it at least would be easier to differentiate. But anyways, aside from colors, we're going to go ahead and get started with this race here at Bahrain. 5 red lights are coming on, and it's lights out and away we go. Looks like Diego had to struggle of a start. Kevin's immediately going to steal the lead from him, as Budweiser's also putting on the pressure, trying to get ahead. He's going to brake a little late going into turn 1, trying to make up a position as well. But Kevin is immediately going to pull away with Diego immediately on the chase. Budweiser having to defend, but he spins, crashes! Budweiser's out of the race. Actually, incredibly reminiscent of anyone remembers Bahrain last year. That's pretty much exactly what happened to Nikita Mazepin. That's kind of ironic and actually tragic for Budweiser. He's immediately going to be done and out of the session. Meanwhile, the other Haas goes for a spin. That's incredibly unfortunate. Haas had such a great qualifying, and now they are stuck at the bottom. One of them completely out of the race. And there's a pretty good pit stop strategy. Like I said before, soft, medium is a viable option around here. And I think many of these drivers are going to try and make that happen. You probably don't want to go longer than 8 laps around here, as Pyrex is trying to recover. His tires are definitely lit up quite badly, so he's going to have to try and manage them a little bit more and cool them down, so then he'll be able to run in a better condition. But it looks like Pat took a spin at turn 12. He's going to have to try and recover himself and get those tires under control. And as you can see, he's slipping and sliding himself due to those tires being incredibly heated up, as Kevin is going to be able to maintain the lead, but not for long. Diego's going to make a move on the inside. He wants that lead back, and he is going to take it going into turn 1. Diego will find himself ahead once again. Kevin is certainly going to fight it back, though. He's going to make that move on the outside now, looking for an opportunity. He's definitely going to brake late for this, and he does. But unfortunately has to remain behind. However, DRS will be enabled on the next lap. He won't have it down the pit straight, but he'll have it after turn 3. And I think he'll be making sure to make good use of it, as we have a spin from Not Pop, who is completely off the track. He does manage to recover quickly, though, and he'll be back underway. Pat must have had damage after hitting the wall earlier, so he's going on a set of hard tires. And what is the camera doing? Is the cameraman okay? So someone needs to give him a hand. Okay. The cameraman was just having a little bit of fun there, just going around in circles, I guess. As Diego is doing his best to pull away and trying to put Kevin out of DRS range. Speaking of, Kevin has already put Spunk out of DRS range. Spunk could be under threat very soon from a few cars behind. Astro and Blitz are keeping up very well, as well as Bullet and Lugane. I completely butchered that. Lugladen coming up very close behind. Also just within DRS range, dragging along Gary, Fernazzo, Crispy, Sargento. Wow, these drivers are doing very well to keep within range, as Pyrex gets ahead of Not Pop due to him having crashed. But he does, I think he reset the track, actually. Pat has facing a penalty earlier from speeding the pit lane. And wow, Diego, is he struggling from a bit of oversteer? Because it looked like his car was slipping just a little bit. Either that or he just burned through his tires that quickly, but I don't know if you can burn through your softs in just a couple of laps. But already, Kevin is keeping up with Diego just fine. He did win the championship last year, and I think he's going to be eager to go for another one. But Diego is clearly putting up a strong fight. We saw a battle last year between Lewis and Max, Mercedes and Red Bull for the championship, and I think we're going to see it again this year. And the Desert Duel in the 2021 race is looking like a very strong sense of deja vu right now with Diego and Kevin. However, there is a possibility, but at Bahrain this year, Ferrari did take a win, and I think Spunk is going to be looking for a repeat success. But anyway, Astro has gone for a little bit of a spin as well at turn 12. He's going to be stuck now in P11, and he's going to go a little bit wide on the track. The question I'm wondering is, does he have damage? He appears to be okay, so I think he'll be able to keep going. Meanwhile, Diego is starting to pull away a little bit. I think the only saving grace Kevin has right now is DRS to allow him to keep up. But wow, look at how powerful it is. He was 8 tenths behind, and he managed to cut that distance in half. But he also braked very late, as you saw, and that's going to cost him a bit of speed. He will have DRS once again, and that's going to allow him to close the gap and keep up. Meanwhile, Blitz is right on the heels of Bullet. He just doesn't seem to have the straight line speed to make a move just yet, though. As Luke Layton manages to pull ahead of Gary. He's now ahead of both Alpines, and you can bet two of them are going to be working together now that they're both side by side, essentially. Either that, or they may just go wheel-to-wheel battling. Who knows? So once again, Diego is doing well to try and pull away here. He's nearly found that speed that he needs, just a little bit further, 2.5 tenths difference, and he will put Kevin out of DRS range. Kevin does not want that, but he makes a little bit of a mistake there, or perhaps not. He's barely keeping within range here on the cusp. 2 tenths difference is all that matters here, as, looks like an Aston Martin of Sargento has gone for a spin at turn 12 as well. These drivers are really struggling. If you go on the throttle a bit too hard around turn 12, even without the curb, you'll end up going for a spin anyways, as we have a lot of cars battling behind. It's a Ferrari of Bullet keeping ahead of Blitz. A little bit of DRS to give him a hand. And you can see 5 cars right behind. Both LPs are going wheel to wheel here as Gary manages to keep ahead of Efernazzo. And he'll be eager to catch back up and bring the fight to Luke Layton, who is honestly running an incredible race for himself right now, checking in with the position changes. He's gained 10 positions. This is an incredible race for him right now after a bit of a struggle qualifying. But now he's got a 3-second time penalty, and that is going to hurt. And yeah, Blitz braked very late. Luke Layton got a little bit overzealous, bumped into the back of him. I hope Luke Layton doesn't have damage for that, otherwise all of those positions he gained was completely for nothing. Meanwhile, Kevin is pretty much in the same position he was before, just stuck out of not close enough to make a move, but close enough to keep within DRS range. But as you can see, he's losing just a little bit more time each lap. This continues at this rate. He's going to lose that DRS range, and you can see he's gotten a little bit close. But meanwhile, Pat appears to have crashed out of the session. And either that or he retired on track. If he did crash out, that might be a safety car. Meanwhile, Luke Layton makes up another position to get ahead of Blitz as Gary is still chasing behind. Blitz is probably going to be eager to make a move back, braking very late on the outside, but Gary cuts him off. Blitz is going to make a switcheroo here, but Gary is closing him off at every opportunity. Blitz is going to be looking for another move back, probably to make a dive on the inside. He's eyeing it up, but chooses to back out. Luke Layton, meanwhile, is continuing to just maximize his pace, now looking to make up another position to get past Bullet to get into the top 4. Layton is having an incredible drive right now. If he continues at this pace, I think he's going to be fighting for a podium at the very least. And now Luke Layton is going to have DRS to give him a bit of a hand. He's going to be dragging a lot of cars behind him. 5 cars in total. Gary, Blitz, Efernazzo, and Crispy. Meanwhile, Astro is doing his best to try and close that gap, but you can see he's struggling for grip a little bit, having a little bit of slips and slides, having to avoid the curb as well, because again, that's basically the death curb. You touch it and you're going for a spin, kind of like Hungary Turn 5, as Atmos and Sargento are getting stuck behind Deacon and No Limit. The Aston Martins, after a solid qualifying, seem to be struggling in the race. You can see Atmos is eyeing up a move. He's going to take it. Oh, yep, that was overambitious. That's unfortunate for Deacon. Atmos tried to make a move that really wasn't going to happen. And unfortunately, Deacon suffered the consequences for it, as Luke Layton manages to take 4th place, but Gary's going to fight it for it at turn 4. Can he get ahead? Looks like Luke Layton manages to hold on and stay ahead. Oh, it's Gary to go, and see it's our bullet. Bang wheels for a moment. They're going wheel to wheel now through the S's, but Gary manages to get just ahead. Luke Layton goes for a spin all off the track into the wall. Oh, that's so unfortunate. He was doing so well, but lost it right as he just got into the top 4. He will be out of the race, and I'm amazed the safety car hasn't been triggered yet. But looks like they all have stopped now. That's unfortunate for Luke Layton. He was doing so well, gained so many positions, but unfortunately, it was all for nothing. Meanwhile, Fernazzo pulls ahead of Bullet. Blitz is looking to make a move as well, with Crispy right behind. This upper midfield is proving to be very fierce, as Blitz is eyeing up a move on the inside, approaching these final 2 corners, 3 wide. Now 2, as they both pull ahead. Oh, Bullet goes into the back of Blitz a little bit. He may have suffered damage for that. That was a bit of a hard bump. And indeed, Bullet and Blitz are both making their way in. As Crispy, he's going to be able to keep on going, actually. And Crispy's in a very good scenario right now. He should be able to pit on instead of Hards going into the end. Crispy should be in a potential spot at the top 5. Alpine, meanwhile, is managing very well, as the 2 drivers are now about to go wheel to wheel. And Fernando eyeing up a move on the inside. Gary just not giving him the space that he needs to make that move. They nearly crashed each other out for a moment. I think that was a bit harsh of Gary. He should have left his teammate a bit more space. After all, the last thing you want to do in Formula 1 is hit your teammate. Like, that's the #1 rule. Meanwhile, not Pop, and it looks like he went for a spin at turn 12 yet again. Meanwhile, catching up with the top 2, looks like they're exactly where they were when we left them. Kevin is still not close enough to make a move, but it is still close enough to keep a hold of DRS, and he's just being pulled along. I think his only hope is on the next stint, he will have an advantage, but that's the Aston Martin of not Sargento, Atmos, off the track, and showing absolute disregard for the Pirelli sign there. That's unfortunate. Please show respect for the signs, as Limit nearly goes over the limit that he had, barely saving his car, nearly suffering the same fate as Luke Layton. He manages to keep control and keep ahead of Sargento, but maybe not for long. Sargento is right behind, and with the aid of DRS, should be able to make a move, as Gary now makes his way into the pits. You can see these top 4 are still running, and their game plan is probably what I think it is, to go for a few more laps, pit for a set of mediums, onto the end of the race. If they keep going for, I would say if they keep going for 2-3 laps, they can probably pit for a set of mediums and go on until the end. But they need to try and make these softs last as long as they can. And I think that's the primary reason why Diego hasn't completely pulled away, and that's because he's trying to manage his tires. Meanwhile, No Limit's going to be eyeing up a move back on Sargento. He's going to be able to make that move happen and take back 11th. A little bit further off, Crispy, he's managing to keep up with Fernandez thanks to DRS, which is going to be perfect for him. Actually, he could be on a perfect strategy here. If he manages to do the opposite strategy of these drivers, who are going from soft to medium until the end, and he does medium to soft until the end, that's actually going to be perfect for Crispy. I think he will be able to fight for a podium indeed. The soft tire advantage could be a very, very massive boost for him. Meanwhile, it looks like Fernando is going to make his way into the pits at long last. I think he's going to be getting a set of mediums, or maybe even a set of hards on until the end. But he's going to stick with a set of mediums, and he'll be able to keep on going until the end on that set, as long as he manages them properly. He may alternatively pit for a set of softs on a final stint, but I do think the mediums should last until the end, as Blitz sets the new fastest lap to take 6th place. Interesting. Looks like he's going to go for a 2-stopper, soft, medium. So he's going to start off with this set and basically just put in a few quali laps and then pit for a set of mediums right at the end. Meanwhile, it looks like both Alpines actually stopped, both of them on sets of mediums now, and I think they both started on mediums, so they should be able to go on until the end on the strategy as well. But Spunk, Kevin, and Diego are all still refusing to go in, but I think now is starting to approach that prime time to go in, get a set of mediums, and go on until the end. So it wouldn't be surprised if they came in this lap or the lap after. Looks like Diego's going to choose to stay out. Kevin will choose to go in, most likely attempting an undercut. The question I'm wondering is, will he be able to make this undercut pay off? All he would need to do is theoretically gain about 6/10, but it looks like Spunk is making his way in as well for that set of mediums, and he's going to be able to go on until the end as well. With that, Crispy's now going to be able to take 2nd place, and if he does pull the medium soft strategy, he should be able to fight for the top 5. Deacon appears to be on a similar strategy himself at the rate he's going. Although, if these medium runners are planning to pit for a set of hards, they're going to do it within the next 4 laps at most. I would say go no further than lap 14 to get that set. As now, Blitz is going to either move on the inside to take 4th place. Meanwhile, Sargento, did No Limit just barge into him, or was that his connection? His connection appears to be volatile. You can see right there, it's a kind of a red bar for his internet. I do think like his connection is erratic. You can see his car shifting a little bit every so often. But Sargento is going to be losing a bit of time for that. He's not going to be too happy. Actually, I think there may be a possibility he has damage. You can see he's actually losing a lot of time very quickly to that McLaren. Oh, indeed. Looks like the wing is a little bit unstable. He may have damage. Meanwhile, Diego is going to finally make his way in to go on until the end on the set of mediums. The question I'm wondering is, did Kevin successfully perform an undercut? And it's going to be close when Diego makes his way out of the pits. As Sargento gets a 10-second time penalty, he's going to crash. It's going to cause a full safety car. Well, looks like Kevin had the worst timing, but managed to make the undercut happen, and he's now just ahead of Diego. But with this safety car, well, looks like Bullet and Blitz are making their way into the pits. Honestly, it really depends. Deacon could have an opportunity to get a free pit stop, get a set of hard tires on until the end. That's definitely a viable option, but it may be an even better idea to just stay out, let those mediums last that much longer, so you can go on a set of softs on until the end. And I do think that would be the best game plan for Crispy and Deacon in their current strategy plan. But this is actually perfect for Diego. His tires are going to be a lot fresher than Kevin's, and Kevin just burned up his tires very quickly. Diego hasn't burned up his tires at all. I wouldn't say burned up his tires, but he basically went on a quality lap on those mediums, while Diego didn't have to do any type of lap on it, unless it's under safety car, of course. It's going to allow his tires to be that much fresher and give him a solid advantage. But looks like Crispy is planning to make his way into the pits right now. He's going to get a set of hard tires to go on until the end. This is about that time where that would be a good strategy call. He will be suffering from pace off the start, though, and he's going to lose a couple positions as well. And indeed, there's a set of hard tires. When he comes out, he's gonna be a little bit further behind, but he'll be just within the top 10. Actually, with Deacon going in as well, looks like they're both planning the same move. Gillespie's actually going to be able to come out P4. And this isn't the worst strategy to be on, as when time goes on, those mediums will die out quicker and those hards will be managing just fine. So, going into the final few laps, Crispy will have an advantage over the medium runners. So it's going to take a bit for everybody to catch back up and the safety car to end, so while waiting for the safety car to end, we'll be right back. What has happened to Kevin? Did he actually just spin on the safety car restart? I look away for a moment, and Kevin has now just put himself into the points, and Diego now has a very clean lead ahead of him. What has happened to Kevin? He's retiring the car, isn't he? I just have a distinct feeling he's going to retire the car. What has happened? We need to know who's going to come out in front. Wait, no, this isn't Monaco. But anyways, Diego is going to be in the lead after Kevin's little kerfuffle. I have no idea what happened. Meanwhile, Pyrex is going to be making a move on Atmos to take P12. No, actually, he's going to stay out. Oh! Pyrex misjudges his brake and goes into the bag. I wouldn't be surprised if he got damaged for that hard of a hit. Meanwhile, Crispy is actually managing his hard tires very well at the moment. He's going to have an advantage to those cars behind, whose mediums are much older. So his tires are going to be fresher, and they're going to last longer as well. Crispy's in a prime position, actually. If he just maximizes these hard tires right now, he might be able to fight for a victory. As Spog picks up a penalty, that's going to make Crispy's job even easier. I looked away for a moment. Could someone in the chat maybe tell me what happened? I looked away to just check something. And I just see Kevin into the wall. Absolutely crazy. As Astro and Limit are keeping it very close to one another. Going wheel to wheel now to turn 4. Astro's going to have a bit of a better run. And he'll be able to get ahead. But Limit's connection does seem a little bit erratic. You can see he's shifting around a lot. And he's braking very late. I think he may have been looking perhaps for a dive there for a moment, but wisely chose to back out. Making a dive there is possible, but you need to be very close to make it happen. Okay, getting very close once again. No limit, really. It's showing he's got no limits, especially when it goes wheel to wheel. He's looking for any opening he can to get past, looking for any opportunity, any game that he can. If it can give him a slight advantage over Astro, he's going to use it. And he's going to get a better run now. Will it be a good enough run to make a move to take 7th place? The moment doesn't appear to be that way. Meanwhile, Crispy's managing incredibly well on this set of tires. As long as he keeps up, he'll be doing very well. Oh, in the chat from Abstract Reality, he was warming his... Okay, so Kevin was warming his tires and he overdid it. Oh, man. I imagine Kevin is very tired after that one. You know, I imagine he's getting very heated. But, I mean, at the very least, you know, he's back on track, able to take it for another spin. Okay, the really bad puns are over now. Let's get back to some racing. Afronazzo is keeping up just fine with his teammate.